Hello, I'm Danny Louise Smith, the Queen of Business Organisation, and today I bring you guest Nikki Matts, who is a creative business mentor and coach and does everything in that area. And I can't wait to dive into helping out creative entrepreneurs. So we're going to be talking about business mindset and getting out of your comfort zone for creative entrepreneurs, which for those of you that have followed me for a while will know is a topic that really aligns with me because of my own creative business background. So before we get into that, Nicola, do you want to introduce who you are, what you do, and all of that?
Yeah, sure. So, like I said, Nikki Matts, I'm a creative business coach and creative entrepreneur myself. I've been helping people now for a little over 12 years. And I absolutely love what I do because I love sort of taking my corporate experience and putting it into help and advice that I can give to others, and putting it into creative businesses, so sort of a corporate insight. So I absolutely love it. I've also got a membership club where people can get tips, advice, lessons from me on a monthly basis. Sorry, monthly basis, and they can get some one-to-one coaching with me as well. So yeah, that's just me.
I love that. I love it because I started out as a creative business coach myself, and then I somehow along the line fell in love with teaching service-based businesses. So I love when I come across people like yourself that do creative business coaching because there's definitely a gap for it. And when people run a creative business, they need other creative-minded people.
Yeah,
Definitely. They
yeah,
definitely do.
100%.
But
It's a different sort of mentality, I think, and because the challenges that we face are so different to like service-based businesses, and
yeah,
in some ways they're so different in comparison to other retail businesses, so it's a different beast altogether than other kinds of coaching.
it really is. Yeah. Like, for me, I found it easier building my service-based business, but I think that's only because it came second. Who knows if it had come first, it might have been a challenge because I think the first time doing anything is a challenge. You learn a lot, don't you, on that path. Do you
Oh
find
yeah.
that when people are coming into running a creative business, they may be an entrepreneur, maybe they're juggling many things. Do you think that there's a lot of struggles with having a business mindset when they first start?
100%. The majority of people that I speak to, and the majority of people I've met in my life, if they are creative business owners, they haven't sort of set out to create a business. They've
Yeah,
been making something, they've started with an idea, they've maybe made something for their friends and family. And then that idea, someone has just put that little thing in their mind that gone, maybe you can sell this. Have you
yeah,
thought about selling this? So they've not gone into this business with an entrepreneur mindset. They've gone into it with a creative mindset, and then they sort of stumble along into this creative business. And a lot of the times we don't really know how we got there. We have no idea
mm,
how we ended up in that position. I, like you, I had a service-based business that was offering services to all kinds of businesses, all different kinds of businesses. I was a VA, I had a VA agency for just over 6 years. And a lot of people I met, they were like, I knew I could make a difference. So I started up this business. I knew I could do this. So I started up a business offering this. And so they really sort of thought about what they were doing and how they could turn that into a business. And with creative entrepreneurs, we're not like that. We maybe, we'll start selling to friends, and then maybe we'll go to the school fete, and then we'll go from there maybe to the church Christmas do, and we'll slowly build this up. The next minute we know, we're on Etsy, we've got a website, and we're trying to figure out
yeah,
Google ads, and it explodes. It goes into a completely different sort of vibe. So I think because of that, that's where we struggle with taking on that entrepreneur mindset and understanding that, we're a business now, we're a retail business now. So how do we need to behave in order to make
mm,
most of our retail business? And I think that's a massive step, and it's something that we sort of take for granted, but actually we need to stop and just give ourselves time to think and time to go, right, okay, I'm a business owner now. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm my own CEO, my own life CEO. How do I need to behave? What do I need to do? Where do I need to go next? And I think that's
yeah.
something we all miss.
I agree. I definitely was that person because it's the hobby to business for me. And I found a lot of my previous clients when I was working with creatives, and even people I'm surrounded by now, like they start off like, I'm good at this thing. And someone does that, you can sell this or you should charge for this. And for me, it was a case of I listened to that, did it. And it was like, once I've sold to all my friends and my family, who next? And then that was really challenging to get into the mindset of selling, because when it's not someone you know, I think in the beginning it become really uncomfortable. The opposite for me now, it's uncomfortable when it's someone I'm really close with.
Yeah.
And actually just a note on that, like me just admitting there that sometimes it is still uncomfortable to sell. Of course it is. We've constantly got to be doing that business
Oh yeah.
mindset work, don't we? Absolutely
Yeah.
have to. What would be
100%.
what would be your best advice for creative entrepreneurs to actually get started working on that mindset and transitioning? Like you said, it changes. You've kind of got to be the CEO. So what would be your best advice for managing that and taking yourself into a business mindset and not maybe sticking with the hobby mindset?
I think the first thing is to recognize it. So recognize the fact that you may not be naturally business minded, and
Mm.
figure out, okay, what do you want to achieve from possibly working towards a better mindset? And if you're in a position where you're thinking, okay, I want to grow my business, one day I want to be, I want to have an online store that funds everything. I want to be able to take my kids away on holiday 3 times a year and not have to worry about payments. I want to get a shop. That's me. I'm working towards getting myself a shop in an outlet sort of retail zone. And it's really important to sort of sit down and go, okay, what are my goals and what do I need to do? Who do I need to be to achieve those goals? And once you do that, get yourself into a little bit of a routine. So I have a routine. I read a lot, like probably stupid amounts, but I read a lot. And I love to read just for my personal self, for just enjoyment. So taking on another book didn't seem like a massive problem to me. So in the mornings, I try and read 10 to 20 pages of a business book. And I've been doing this now for 15 years. It is still
Wow.
something I do today. I try and read as many like business books, mindset books, development books as I possibly can. And not just necessarily about business, but ones about self-development, about building my confidence, about stepping into the role that I want to be in, to go to that next stage. It started off with a lot of sales books because, even to today, I'm still not 100% confident, comfortable selling to people. Like I still get nervous, the butterflies, all of that sort of stuff. But being able to sort of think through what I've learned and go through those books and go, okay, so these are the tips that I need to keep in mind. So when I'm rattling on to someone about all the pros and cons of my product and I'm panicking, just remembering, okay, breathe, be comfortable with the silence. Sales is also 70% silence as well as 30% talking and all that sort of stuff. And sort of having that knowledge there is a real comfort. So I
Yeah.
always say to everyone, start with just a book. If you're not a book reader, if you prefer to listen to stuff, go on to Audible. I have loads of business books that I have on Audible that I play in the car when I'm driving somewhere. If I know I'm on a 2-hour journey, I'll stick an audiobook on and just
Mhm.
let that go, because I'm going to be listening to music. I might as well listen to something productive. So it's not all the time, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying change your entire life, only read business books, only listen to business books. That's not the way to do it. But just be open to going, okay, actively today I'm going to listen to a business book, or actively today I'm going to read a couple of pages from a business book, and get yourself into that habit of wanting to learn and wanting to take on knowledge. I think that is so important. And the other thing I say is take on a business mentor. I've had some amazing business mentors, and even though I'm a business mentor, there are people that are 10 years ahead of me that can teach me
Yeah.
something. So I always look at people that have been doing what I've been doing, but they've been doing it 10 years longer or 20 years longer than I have. They've got all of those extra years experience to me.
Yeah.
So I will go to them and I will ask them for advice, and I will ask them to mentor me, and I will invest in my training and my knowledge. And I do it yearly. I take on that investment regularly. So I think it's really important to invest in yourself If you don't have the finances to do that with a mentor, do it with a book, but invest in yourself and take time to learn and to take on knowledge. I think that's really important.
I think that is really important actually, and that changed things for me. My business wasn't making money, I wasn't selling until I started reading. And the first one I picked up back in 2020 was a money mindset book, and it's Denise Duffield Thomas, and I still love it
I love
now.
her. Yeah, I love
It's
her.
the what I actually mention it in my book. I love it that much, and I do thank her in it. I shouldn't have said that because the book's not out yet, but because basically that book, I read it and then I loved it that much. I wanted to listen to it on Audible, but I first read it on Kindle. So I then bought the print version as well. So I've literally bought it 3 times over, and I've highlighted the actual book. And I think I've read it about 3.5 times now. So I'm actually partway through it and there's bookmarking it. And I'll just always go back to that. It's like I call it my business Bible, even though it's about money mindset. You can literally apply that principle to anything in your business, anything in your life, really. I know I could read that and sort of like focus on my health. And she actually states like she could use that for someone with like relationships and finding love. And I just love that idea that you can adapt like that. So we can learn and do anything we want to if we just set our minds to it, really, can't we? And reading for me has been the way as well. I love podcasts, and I mean, of course, I'm running one and you're here and I'm going to be in yours. And I love podcasts, and they're a great way to learn as well. I used to, back in the day, I used to watch loads of people's like mentors' Facebook Lives and learn from that before I invested. But now I'm the same as you. Every year, I'm like, right, who am I working with next? Like, what's my opportunity to work with someone for the year ahead? Because last year, I had a 3-month break of not having a mentor, and it was like the worst time.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
moved house. My husband had surgery. We moved house a month later, and then 2 days after that, he got admitted back to hospital. Because we'd moved, we had no internet, so I was struggling to actually manage. I couldn't actually work with my clients, which was a nightmare for me because I absolutely love it. And it was just, it was just shocking, like life happening situation. And sometimes, even though it's a business mentor, they help ground you and bring you back into your business. And I think at that time I really would have needed it, and it taught me a massive lesson to actually always have that support no matter what. And so I prioritize that now, to the point that this year I've already put a deposit down on my coach for 2025, like,
Yeah.
which is crazy. We're recording this at the time, it's July 2024. So you can imagine like how much advanced. And she actually said to me when I did it, God, you really are kidding. You're not like nobody's as organized as you. And I'm like, I know, live up to my name. But
This
I
is
think
it.
it's so important. It's so important.
It really is. And if you can't afford a mentor, and I know not everyone can, and that's fine, but there's membership clubs,
Yeah,
there's group programs that you can go on to, or even if you're right at the beginning of your journey and you have no idea where to start, go to networking events and find like-minded people, because
yeah,
sometimes, like you said, in that moment where you really you could have had someone there to ground you, and it would have helped you deal with the situation so much more. If you surround yourself with people that are positive mindset, that are looking at it, like achieving more, are looking at better in themselves, that in
yeah,
the moments that you don't have a mentor, you have a support network of people that have that knowledge, that are looking at better in themselves and doing more. And I mean, one of the things I do, I have a membership to a gym, which, one of them things, membership to the gym, but the gym I go to specifically because of the owner. It's an independent gym. It's not a a chain of gyms. And he is the most positive person I've ever met in my life. He is brilliant. He can spin the most positive side to any story ever. Like, he'll always look for the lesson in badness.
yeah,
He'll always look for, the positivity in a journey. So when I went to join that gym, he was the reason I joined, because when I have my days where I feel a bit crap, I'll go to the gym, and 10 minutes with him, and I'll go, oh, I feel like crap. And he goes, right, put your boxing gloves on. Let's talk it out. So
yeah,
we'll be boxing. We'll just do a little bit of training, little boxing. And he was like, right, so what's the problem? Like, this isn't this. He goes, right, now think about it this way. And he just reframes my mind. So sometimes not necessarily having a trainer or a coach or a mentor, but having someone in your circle that you can sort of get everything out to, and just tell them all your problems, and they can go, but have you thought about this? And just sort of reframe it for you so you can start again, so you can do it again. And I think for creative entrepreneurs, even more so,
Mhm.
because we struggle mentally with a lot of our mental health, because a lot of our creativity is, you know, dealing with everything that goes on in our own heads. I myself, I'm neurodiverse, so my head is constantly going. So one of the reasons I'm creative is to give my brain time to stop, because it's the
Yeah.
only time it stops working. So having a network of people around you that will give you that positivity, that will give you that guidance, that you know, you're there for them if they just need a run, they're there for you if you need a run. I think that makes all the difference,
It
definitely.
really does. And I think a lot of people, which this has transitioned nicely into my next question, actually, because I think a lot of people listen to that and they're like, yeah, I know I should go networking, I should meet new people, I should, and they know it because, like, let's face it, me, you, other mentors, we say this, don't we? But they still feel a bit uncomfortable with that, scared, nervous, maybe afraid of like all of the things, loads of fears coming up, and they have to get out of their comfort zone. And it's something I've definitely been through. I'm sure you have as well. So I wanted to actually talk about what it looks like doing things like that that do take you out of your comfort zone and why we should actually do it.
So I think the biggest thing is get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Business is
Mhm.
uncomfortable, life is uncomfortable, and you just got to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. I still get nervous going to networking events. If it's a new group of people, I still get nervous. Like I said, I'm neurodiverse, I'm ADHD. So a lot of people think that I have this like loads of confidence and everything else. And yeah, to a lot of people that don't know me, that's how they will see it. But it's because I go into a situation and I've been talking myself into it for the last hour. I've tried 15 different outfits on before I found the outfit that I want to wear. I've rehearsed down to the last T my 60-second introduction that I'm going to
Yeah.
tell every single person, to the point now I sound a little bit like a robot. You know, I'm terrified that I'm going to overshare. I'm terrified that I'm going to like sit there talking about my nan and all this sort of stuff. And you have those moments. And even people that have been doing this for 20, 30 years still have those moments, but you do it
Yeah.
because if you want your business to grow, it will be uncomfortable. If you want to reach the goals in your life that you've set out for yourself, it's going to be uncomfortable. If you sit there and go, oh, I wish I could have that, you can, but you've got to get uncomfortable. You've got to get out of that comfort zone. You've got to get into a position where you don't know everything, because if you don't know everything, you're learning. If you're learning, you're growing. If you're growing, then your business is growing. It's an extension of you. So I think the biggest thing is, yeah, you don't have to like it, but try one new place a month. If you can't do a month, do it at least once every 3 months, every quarter. Try one new networking place, or go to one new event, or whatever it is. And you know, talk yourself into it. Get your outfits ready 3 weeks before. You know, sit, practice in the mirror, bug your other half with the 15 million times that you've told him the exact same 60-second pitch of who you are, what you do, and everything else, to the point that he's like, oh my God, shut up, like, please God, shut up. You know, when you get to that point, you know, you've pretty much got it right. And go. And then be honest. The amount of places that I've been to and I've gone, I'm sorry, I'm really, really nervous, I don't know anyone here. And people want to help people. I know we don't
Mhm.
see a lot of that in life, especially with everything that goes on in the news and everything else. But actually, my experience has always been, the more honest I am with people about the fact that I'm nervous or I'm a bit unsure, or you know, where do I sit? Is there any particular place that I sit? Does everyone have their own seats? I don't know, I'm new. And being honest with that allows people to say, hey, come on, let me guide you, let me show you. If you walk in there and you're like, oh, I know where I'm going to go sit in the corner, blah, blah, and you sort of push yourself in there to try and make yourself feel like you're authoritative, then you're gonna have a bad experience. But if you go in there honestly and say, right, hi, this is my first time, I've got no idea about anyone here, don't know where I need to be, what I need to do, but I'm Nicola, nice to meet you, I make stuff, it's kind of good, I'd like to show you one day,
Yeah.
that sort of stuff. Just be honest, people will help you. But the biggest bit of advice I can give anyone is get comfortable with being uncomfortable, because there's things you won't know, there's things you can't do, there's things you don't even know yet that you can't do, that you'll need to do, and all of it's going to be uncomfortable. But when you reach those goals, they're worth it. I
Definitely.
now I now sit at home all day, every day with my kids. I work from home. We have a small office, so we get an opportunity to go to the office a couple of times a week. But my boys are now homeschooled. We are actively looking at traveling. We are actively looking at, moving around a little bit more, doing some things overseas. I'm putting together the life that I want because I put in the hard work for the last 15 years
Yeah.
in a way I never wanted to, working like 12-hour days, 13-hour days, and trying to juggle the kids and having to deal with, a neurodiverse household and running around and trying to keep the clients happy. I don't think I slept for about 3 years. But I did all that hard work and it was really uncomfortable and it was horrible. But I get the chance now to build more of a life that I want to live and
Yeah.
live that life in full. So it's hard at first, it gets easier, but it's always uncomfortable.
I agree, and it's really interesting because I went to a party last weekend and it was someone's birthday who I'd met through networking. And I actually said, so my old business mentor was there with me. And I say old, she's the one I'm going to be working with again next year. And I said to her, imagine if I'd have never joined your first mastermind, I would not be stood in this room. And let me tell you, when I was first invested in that, I was scared because I'd never invested. I'd worked with her at 1-to-1, and that was quite an amount. But this mastermind was something bigger, something more, meeting strangers, like you say, really uncomfortable. I'd never done something in a group to say, hi, I'm Danny, and this is my problem, and this is what I need to do, like an AA meeting or something. And you know what? It's like the people I met that first mastermind I was in. Um, Now one of them's my tech lady, one of them's done my copy, one of them's an expert in well, two of them actually are copy and mindset coaching my own mastermind. Now I'm running one. A few of them have bought from me. A few of them have done like podcast episodes. We've collaborated, and then it's really come full circle. But then what's happened is we've brought our own networks together in some ways, and it's brought me the most amazing friendships, boosted my confidence. I've had therapy through from one of the people that was in that mastermind, and it was her birthday who I was stood in her house at her big party, and I'm like, I would not be in this room if I didn't do that, and I wouldn't have had the growth that I've had from that day. I think it was about this time 2 years ago actually, and it's really interesting looking back at how much I have pushed myself out of the comfort zone to bring me to where I am today and that growth that I've had. So it
Yeah.
definitely works to kind of put yourself in the room, meet new people, and to do the scary stuff, like you say, and be uncomfortable with it. And it's
Yeah,
okay to
100%.
be uncomfortable, definitely.
And that's it. It's okay to be uncomfortable. You hit
Yes.
the nail on the head. It's okay. It depends on what you want. If you want a comfortable life and you want to do your 9 to 5, come home, watch a bit of TV, bit of curry, have your dinner, go to bed, get up in the next morning, do your 9 to 5 again, do your B&M shop on a Saturday, and that's it.
Mm.
That's absolutely fine. There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. I myself made a choice
Yeah.
that wasn't what I wanted. I want to do a B&M style shop, but I want to do it in Spain in one of their versions of a B&M. I want to go and have a look at their tat that I'm going to spend, $1.99 on and probably not use. I want to be on the beach. I've seen the next thing we're working towards actually is to be able to go to a turtle sanctuary,
Oh, wow.
where you actually learn all about the sea turtles, and you get to live on the beach with the sea turtles for a week, and you get to feed them and you get to help them like with like all the eggs and all that sort of stuff. And it's something me and the kids really want to do. I'm not going to get that doing my 9 to 5,
Yeah.
sitting on the sofa in the evening and doing my B&M shop on a Saturday. It's just not going to happen. The only way I'm going to be able to do that, because it's not cheap. They're trying to fund all of the wildlife and everything around there and all the good stuff that they do for the wildlife. So it's not cheap. But the experience that I'll get from that is amazing. Now it's on my board, it's on my vision board as a thing that I want to do. So I'm working towards it. And every time, those days where I don't like being uncomfortable, those days where I'm like, why can't this just be easy? Because I still have them. Everyone still has them, you know, even multimillionaires, they still have those days like,
Yes.
oh, why can't this just be easy? You know, on those days, I look at my little turtle on the board. I look at the next car that I want to get. I look at the next holiday that I want to do. I look at, you know, the fact that the kids want to go to a wilderness camp next year. That's on the board. You know, all these little things. I'm like, okay, I'm not comfortable right now, but I'm not going to be if I'm going to make it there. You know,
Yeah.
if I'm going to get to that step, I'm not going to be comfortable. You know, my shop, I've already inquired about where my shop's going to be. I've already inquired about what it's going to cost me, all of that sort of stuff. And it's in a really exclusive place. They haven't even got a shop available yet, but I've already got myself on a waiting list. So I need to make sure my candles are the best smelling candles in the world. They're selling absolutely everywhere. So that when they give me that call and say, hey, a shop's come up, I'm like, yeah, it's mine.
Yeah.
No question. You know, I've got enough money in the bank that they phone me up and say there's a shop ready. I don't even ask how much it is. I just go, yep, I'm in. Sign me up, I'm there. So I've got to work doubly hard to make sure that happens. And my little shop is on my board as well, waiting for me. And I think just having those moments of uncomfortable where you just want to give up, we all do on a daily basis, have those moments where we want to cry, eat chocolate, give up, forget about it, go and stack shelves at Asda, you know, this is not what we want to do anymore. Having a picture of what I'm working towards
Yeah.
helps. It really,
Having a
really
vision in
helps.
general is something to answer for, isn't it? I did a class yesterday and it was the first thing. It was about strategy, but it still was the first thing I spoke about, because having a vision is just so important for you to actually move forward. Because if we can't see what we're working towards, we can't see what we're doing this for, then we're not going to take those actions, like being uncomfortable and then getting through it to get the results that we want. I love that.
100%.
I really love that. If somebody listening to this, because there is quite a lot of creatives in my audience and they want to come and check you out, Nicola, then where can they find you?
They can find me on Facebook. It's just nicola.matts on Facebook. They can find me on Instagram, again, nicola.matts. Or if you want to come and have a look at the membership group or the group coaching, something that's maybe slightly more comfortable when you're just starting out, have a look at theartisanbusinesscompany.com. And that's where I do a lot of my mentoring. We have specialists that come in as well. So we've got a specialist in PR, we've got a specialist in mindset, we've got a specialist in being a CEO, we've got all these different specialists that come in and help with the training, the coaching, and the guidance on that as well. So you can sort of get all the snippets of information from the people that have mastered the art of each section. So yeah, come and find me. And if you just want to drop me a message on Facebook and say, hey, how do I do this? Feel free. I have a brain, pick my brains, book in a 30-minute session with me for absolutely for free, and just figure out where you want to be, what you want to do, and we'll do those steps together.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that, because I think it's so important that creatives tap into other creatives, because we need more of us around us. And my final question that I ask all my guests is, what would be your biggest tip for being organized within your business?
Oh, well, I'll be honest, I'm a stationery queen. I love my stationery. I'm terrible. And I actually use a bullet journal myself
Yeah.
because I'm neurodiverse. I find bullet journals work much better for me because I can get everything out of my head onto a piece of paper. But the key thing, the thing that makes my bullet journal different, is that everything is color coded.
Yeah.
So I name my highlighters. In fact, I can show you. Don't know whether you
You've
can see
named
it,
your
but I actually,
highlighters.
so
Ah,
all of my highlighters have little labels on, and I have business, personal, kids, money, what,
yeah.
all the different sections. And every note that goes into my bullet journal gets highlighted with the correct section of my
I
life that I'm
love
working
that.
towards in that task. So each task is assigned to a section of my life I am better in at that time.
That's so different. I mean, I use the color code. I have actually the same highlight as you do, and I use color coding, but I've never thought about, because one of the things I did, because my brain was like, oh, so much things that I'm writing down, was finding which notebook it was in. But actually, if you just color code it, in one notebook. It's all in one place and you can just find it based on colour. I love that. So
Yeah,
the one thing I do say is if we're not organised, then things are chaos. And
100%.
actually, it eliminates the chaos if you just colour code your journal, for example, in that way that you said. I love that.
That's,
Love
it
it.
is. It's amazing. The bullet journal for me was a game changer, absolute game changer. It is my Bible. Everything goes in that. If it's not in the bullet journal, it doesn't happen. It's my entire world. So everything that I need is all in one place. I can never lose it. I make an effort each week to go through like my last week, check that I've done all my tasks, or migrate them over into my new week so I can make sure they're all there, but everything being color coded. So I know that if I'm sat there and I am doing my finances, I'll go through all of my tasks that are highlighted in yellow to do all of my finance stuff. If I'm sat working on business stuff, I'll go through all of my sort of tealy color ones. If I'm sat doing some stuff for family, I'll sit through all of my tasks and I'll go through all my purple ones. And that way I don't have to go through each task one by one, because then you
Yeah.
bounce in from one section to another. I can literally go through each category and much more productive.
I love that. That's just so much. It simplifies it. And that's what we need with this creative brain with so many ideas, is that simplification. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing
It's
that.
okay.
And thank you for being a guest today. I've absolutely loved it. I'll speak to you soon.
Thank you for having me. It's been amazing. It's been absolutely lovely. And hopefully I'll be back another day, maybe.
Hopefully, yeah. I'll speak to you soon. Hi, I'm Danny Louise Smith, and I am the Queen of Business Organisation. I'm a business mentor and coach, and I specialise in helping you to ditch overwhelm by managing your business like a CEO pro. And I've got something that is going to literally save you time, help you be more productive, and earn more. This will change the way you do business. It's called the free Organised Business Toolkit. You're going to have to access this. It's going to be your best friend. Inside the toolkit, you'll get time management tools, business strategy resources, client management solutions, finance managed solutions, and my top 10 business resources that you can work your way through to help you with building your business. There is no opportunities missed with inside this toolkit. And not only that, I know how hard it is in the beginning where you're trying to navigate all of these different systems and tech and tools. So there is a short how-to video for each area guiding you through how to use these tools easily and efficiently. It's everything you need to save time, be more productive, and earn more money in your business without any of the stress, confusion, or overwhelm. And best of all, it's totally free. If it sounds like you need this toolkit, then head over to queenofbusinessorganisation.co.uk/toolkit, and you can download it and get instant access right away. See you on the inside.